What would your reaction be if you were on a lifeboat in the middle of an ocean and in that lifeboat with you was a tiger? I know what my reaction would be. I am so So the life of Pi is the story of a guy from India and his name is Pi. His family owns a zoo in India, but soon they are to move to Canada. While they're on the ship moving to Canada, there is a storm that sinks the ship. Inside the ship, they have all the zoo animals, but of course the ship goes down, bringing most of the animals down with it. Pi manages to escape alive by going onto a life raft, and it disconnects from the main ship and sails away in the storm. He later finds out that there is an ape, a hyena, a zebra, and a tiger on the raft that he is in, and that all his family is dead. So soon, the ape, the zebra, and the hyena eventually die, so it's just Pi and the tiger. And he has to kind of fend for himself while at the same time keep the tiger alive in order for the both of them to survive. So he kind of has to keep his distance, but he doesn't really have to be enemies with the tiger. So that is just a really quick outline of the story of the life of Pi. Now let's discuss this and let me tell you guys what I think of the movie. I think the movie is absolutely fabulous. It's got a great story, very good visual effects, the acting is perfect, and I was just enveloped by this movie. I was just so glued to it. I was really enjoying myself while I was watching the movie, and I just felt a ton of emotions. I felt happiness, sadness, I felt like laughing, I felt like punching somebody. But this movie really brings out the many emotions in you, and it really shows what people do in the situation of life and death. From the beginning of this movie, it really gets you interested, and it shows you why he was named Pi, his childhood, and some very funny things he did. There's this one part of the movie where Pi he starts to become faithful in all the religions. So at one point he's introduced into Hinduism and he's like, whoa, Hinduism. Then he's introduced into Catholicism and he's like, whoa, I'm gonna do that thing now. And then Islam and he's like, oh yep, yeah, I'm gonna be Islamic. So throughout the movie at the beginning, he is kind of with all the religions. So let's get on to grading. So if you don't know, grading is rated out of 5 categories and it's rated from 1 to 10. These categories are acting, script, story, visual effects, and sound effects. So let's start off with visuals. In the Oscars, Life of Pi did get nominated for Best Visual Effects, and I completely agree with that. They were so good, like they looked very real, and they were almost perfect. Such as the scene when the whale jumps into the air, or the other scene that when the ship is sinking, Pi he goes underwater and he looks at the ship sinking while it's underwater, and it's just really gloomy and dark and ghostly, and that really sets the mood. Or the scene when he's on giant Venus flytrap, which is an island. I don't want to get too much into the details, but you know the visual effects were really good. They were sensational, and I'm best to give it a 10 out of 10. Now let's move on to sound. The sound was just like the visuals. It was almost perfect. It really suited the mood and when things were happening, and it sounded like it was really happening. It felt like you were actually a part of the story, and you could almost live what Pi was living, and they just did it perfectly. So again, I'm gonna give the sound a 10 out of 10. Now let's go into script. The script was pretty damn good in some scenes. In other scenes, when he's with the girl, it is a bit cheesy and a bit corny, and you just, yeah. Sometimes when he says those corny lines, or when she says those corny lines, at those times you just don't really buy it, and you're like, maybe a bit better with the scripting. But other than that, the script was pretty good. It was great. So that would give the script a 7 out of 10. Acting. Now for acting, the acting was pretty good, but that is just focusing on Pi and some of the other guys. Their acting was really good, but in some of the other people, like the girl or say the brother, the acting was kind of basic. And if I just graded it on Pi's acting, I give it a 9 out of 10. But because this is a movie review and I'm grading it overall, an overall score for the acting will get you a 7 out of 10. Last but not least, well actually last and probably the most important, story. Now the story was really good. I really like the fact how the author, because it's originally a book, and the director of the film, they really just set it well together. They made the story as if Pi could really bond well with the tiger, but at the same time kind of be like enemies with the tiger. It's a bit of a complex story, but the story was really good. It was really something that would capture you. So I would give the story an 8 out of 10, and it was a pretty well done story. So without further ado, let's get on to the final score, unless you've calculated it already. Drum roll, please. And the final score is 42 out of 50. Yeah, great movie. So this calculation is an overall overview of the movie. Personally, I would give this movie 2 thumbs up, 5 stars. I love this movie. It was fabulous and it captured me. Now before we end the video, we have one last thing to do, and that is recommendations. Gabriel, would you recommend me seeing this movie? Absolutely. It's one of the movies that you need to see before you die. It is absolutely fabulous. So, Gabriel, would you recommend me buying this film? Yes, I would recommend it to you at any price that's not $1 million. Yes, you should buy this film. Gabriel, what age division should see this movie? Well, age division wise, I think 8 years old until 100 years old will be fascinated by this movie. Honestly, all ages. It's a family movie. It's really good, and it's something that everybody would enjoy. So that brings an end to my third movie review. Thank you so much for watching. Leave what you think about the movie in the comment section below. Remember to rate and subscribe, and have a good day. Before you go, leave a thumbs up for the naughty word on my t-shirt. Kind of.
Now bad boy, are you ready for the bass? My DJ, yo, get on the case. Roots in, roots out, get down. Who's in the mic with the wickedest sound? Wickedest sound. Wickedest sound. Get hyper.